Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of Apes on Movies. I'm Janky Gorilla.
And I'm Dopey Chimp, and we're going to talk about our best and worst of 2017. And then we're going to jump into 2018 for a little bit, but don't get ahead of us. So let's start us off, Janky. What was your favorite movie of 2017?
Oh, none other than Blade Runner 2049. Absolutely a brilliant movie. How about you? What was your most loved movie of 2017?
Right now, the one that marinated with me the most was Three Billboards over Ebbing, Missouri. It was just it was just a very, very dramatic film. It was a very impactful film. It made me laugh and cry like right back to back. Hard to flip flop with that, and you had a lot of just really strong characters and deep themes.
Yeah, with Blade Runner 2049, I've been waiting a long time for this movie. When I first heard about it, I was a big fan of the original, and I thought this movie had a lot to live up to, and I believe in every way it surpassed the original. Some people have really strong feelings against this movie, while others have the same feelings as I do, and as you do as well. But this is, to me, is what Hollywood's all about. It encapsulated storytelling and visuals and character development and, I guess, immersion all in one. It did it all.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I agree. I enjoyed this movie more than the original, mainly because I didn't grow up with Blade Runner like a lot of people did. I think it's a movie. It's one of those movies you probably discover when you're a teenager.
Yeah, it's a little mature for younger.
Yeah,
audiences.
and I honestly didn't see the original until like 3 years ago. I don't know which cut I watched. So I went into it knowing that I was in for a good movie, and I did enjoy it, and I did think that it had a lot of great elements. But this pound for pound 2049 is, for my money, a superior movie. I think it had better cinematography, which it also won, by the way, for best cinematography this year. And this movie, and not that you need a good twist to make a good movie, but this movie had turns in it that I don't think I even looked for.
No, I think so.
There's a reveal towards the end of the film that I did not see.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming either. And when it was revealed, there's something about the ending that is truly magic. Yeah. And some people will see it coming, others may not. Let's talk about Three Billboards. I haven't seen the movie still, but I know that it's an amazing movie. I've heard a lot of talk about it. I know that it's got a great cast. And it looks amazing from the preview I've seen. So, tell us what you loved about it.
Yeah. First off, when you can see this movie, basically, Frances McDormand is a grieving mother whose daughter had been raped and killed the previous year. It had been a year long, and there had been no arrests or really much headway in the investigation at all. So she rents 3 billboards on this kind of dead-end highway, and plasters up on each one a different sentence to make a whole phrase, basically saying, "It's been a year since my daughter was raped and killed. Why hasn't there been arrests?" And she calls out the chief of police in the last billboard. That chief of police is Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
So it sets you up with this frame of, well, is Woody Harrelson your bad guy in this movie? He's a joke in this movie. And he's not. It's really interesting that everybody in this movie has their flaws, but there's only really a couple of people who you kind of view as
like the antagonist or even the anti-hero.
Yeah, and there's not even the antagonist.
Maybe it's the situation?
It's more the situation. It's really interesting. It's definitely an Oscar type-ish movie. Yeah. It's strong acting. It does pander to the Oscar crowd. Yeah. But I don't find a fault in that. If
it's done right.
If the goal, and I'm not saying the goal was for it to be an Oscar winner, but if that's if that's the goal you have behind making a great film, and that inspires you to make a great film, that's what they did. It's a fantastic film.
Tired of being chronically tired all the time? Now introducing virtual reality sleep! Now you can enjoy countless hours of sleeping in virtual reality.
The makers of your sleep are not responsible for and expressly disclaims all liability for damages of any kind arising out of use, reference to, or reliance on this product.
Welcome back, guys. We're going to now talk about the most disappointing movies of 2017. Starting with you, Dopey, what was the most disappointing?
Well, don't at me, but The Shape of Water. It won Best Picture for some reason. This movie was decent. It was okay. You've seen it 3,000 times. It's a story of somebody falling in love with something else or someone else that's a little different. And, you've seen it. Free Willy, The Little Mermaid, I don't know, Mighty Joe
Beauty
Young.
and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast. There you go. That's it. But it's okay. But I went into this movie knowing that it was a Best Picture nom.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't do it for me. The best thing this movie has going for it are the main actress and Michael Shannon. I forget the main actor who plays the female part. I can't think of her name. But she plays a mute character. She does very good. She does a very good job. If she wasn't up against people like Margot Robbie and Frances McDormand for best actor and a female lead, then I could have easily seen her taking that spot. It's directed very well. Guillermo del Toro was the director. He won Best Director. That doesn't bother me as bad because he has a very unique style, kind of like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, he does. He's very identifiable.
He's very identifiable. He has his Del Toro beats that he hits in this movie that serves the audience well, serves the movie well. Right. It just was a disappointment. I saw most of the Best Picture noms, and maybe it's unfair to judge it on that standard, but when you know that this is supposed to be one of the best movies the whole year has to offer, I'm expecting to be moved in some way. And there were several movies that I saw this year that could have been nominated that moved me a lot more than this film did. What about you?
The most disappointing movie of 2017 for me was Dunkirk. Nolan's been hitting it out of the park since he started, really. And I think every movie that he's made so far that's made it on the big screen has been a hit for me. Every one of them. But this one. I didn't watch Dunkirk in theaters, and I know it's one of those kind of theatrical experiences that you want to see, because it's got the visuals, it's got the sound, it's got the epicness to it. Where Dunkirk falls the flattest, though, is its narrative. And I understand there's going to be people that want to argue that the narrative, it was intended this way because it was a story about an event, not about a particular person. However, to me and to a lot of viewers, it takes a person or at least a cast of people that you care about to keep you going through the film. It's not visuals and sound alone are not going to carry you. And Dunkirk, in my opinion, fails at that. And there are many scenes that I was intrigued by. There were many moments when I was watching the film and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I really love this. But at the end of the day, when the movie was over, it was forgettable. The characters rarely had dialogue. They had no backstory. They had nothing there to make me care about them if they lived or died. And there were some great actors in there. Cillian Murphy, excuse me, and Tom Hardy which are two of my favorite actors in Hollywood, were in the movie. But they could have been anybody. They could have been completely different actors that could have played those roles, and it wouldn't have mattered because they had literally nothing unique brought to the movie. There were some great characters, I thought, that could have really been amazing to watch if I knew more about them, if they had more screen time, if there was just more substance. There just was no substance with characters. It would have been more impactful if there had been at least one narrative, one person that I cared about. It would have carried me through the movie.
Let me ask you this: you said a minute ago that some of your favorite actors are in this movie, but it could have been anybody. I know, not to knock anybody's performance exactly, but do you think, and this kind of gets a little bit off subject, but do you think it sometimes hurts a film when you have these directors who are notorious for using the same actors? People like Quentin Tarantino, who uses Sam Jackson a lot, when you have people like Wes Anderson, who uses Bill Murray a lot, or Tim Burton, who uses Johnny Depp a lot, or something like that. Do you think, and Nolan's known for that, he's got quite a few actors that he uses repetitively.
Yeah.
Murphy and Hardy, and a few others too.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is, yeah, and
what's her name? The page girl. I always forget her name. It was Emma. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I know what you're saying though. The one that plays in Inception.
Right.
I think that the most important thing when you're casting a role is to keep the character's best interests in mind, and I think it does. That is a fault, and not always, but I think it can be detrimental to the character if you're trying to force someone who you work with a lot to fill that role when there is someone out there who's better for it. Maybe they are similar in their real life, or maybe they have just a better look for that role, and everybody sees it in their mind for maybe a book translated over, and then they put that character there just because they work with them and it doesn't fit. So yeah, I think it can be have a negative effect, but also I think it helps too when like with Nolan, when he brings those people in that he normally works with, it helps with the production. I think it helps move the film forward.
If you work well with that person, I understand wanting to use them often. So I mean, I get why a lot of directors do that. Sometimes it takes me out of the movie.
Yeah.
If I see, if I see Tom Hardy or Anne Hathaway or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, or I see these people on the screen, I'm automatically thinking this is probably a Nolan.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that too.